Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the NTT Indycar Open Series here at Twin Ring Motegi. I'm Austin. I am joined by Marco Brabner, and Marco is going to greet all of you in Japanese.
皆さん、konnichiwa to konbanwa. Marco Barbanera des. Austin Knight des. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Yeah, that was it. But yeah, it's beautiful to be here, Austin. Unique racetrack, this one in Motegi. What can we expect? But before that, let's go through the grid because tonight we are a little bit later than usual. Here we go.
Taking pole, it's Simon Bryant ahead of Philip Cross, Pablo Marin, Alessandro Dalladone, John Downing, Laura Gearhart, Andreas Ike, Paul Morgan, Neil McBride, Charles Eric Lemaine, Barrett Rolfe, Shane Burke in P12. Behind him is Pierre Bourdin, Clark Archer, Aaron Roofs, Scott Sims, Sherwin Vandersloot, and Liam Rance taking up the 18th and the back of the grid. I am so excited for this race because Twin Ring Motegi is my favorite oval. I know it's not everyone's favorite oval, but this track is just amazing to drive on. First turn, flat out. Then the second part of the oval, you have to lift off and everything. What other ovals in the calendar can we expect to have this different types of strategies going on through this race?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, quite a unique oval, sadly not in use anymore after the Great Tohoku earthquake of 2011, but still present in a racing laser scan, of course, and will always be available for us to drive as drivers are running around with, I see, Wolfpack livery there by our number 9 driver, Alessandro Dalledon. Very proud to represent a big surprise. It's going to be unique. It's going to be difficult for these drivers. It's a long race. The tarmac, as per usual in Japan, is very slippery. As we say hello to Tyler Keveth and Arjuna Kankipati, sadly not racing with us today, but I think they will be watching with great interest as we are just about ready to go racing, Austin.
Yeah, it's pace cars coming around the tight turns 3 and 4. You're going to see a lot of different lines happening through here because you're going to have to lift off. I was talking with Aaron Roos, who is having a big discussion on how to set up a car for this. But as the pace car pulls off, it's all in the hands of Simon Bryant. He puts the power down. We're going green flag racing here at Twin Ring Motegi. It wasn't the best start from Philip Cross's Alessandro Dane has already got one spot. He looked like he was going for two, but great start from Alessandro Dane, sniping third place.
Yes, we're on board with Pablo Marin as he's trying to get back the position behind him, John Downing, Laura Gerhardt, but it's Simon Bryant, winner of the last oval race we did in Olmsted 2 weeks ago in the first leg of the doubleheader, and so he is leading the way in front of the pack, and we already start to see the different lines. We had a non-starter, it's Barrett Rolfe, as in the mid-pack there is a lot of overtaking going on. This is going to be a race where, of course, it's an overused cliche and it's used in other racetracks as well, in other ovals, but it's fair to say that this works quite a bit like a road course, Austin, with these wildly different corners, and in turn 3 and 4 you basically have to lift in the first few laps, then you have to brake later down the line and go down several gears in order to make the corner.
Yeah, the track changes over time, the way you have to drive it changes over time, and it's one oval that I've struggled with immensely, but it's a most entertaining oval. It does drive like a road course, honestly, like you're saying, and I can't wait to see how this 133 lap race goes on. And it's a tight, fat fight back in the midfield, but up at front we do have a tight fight as well. Simon Bryant sticking down to that inside line as Philip Cross swinging around to the outside, trying to get some of that clean air, and just watch how different they take turn 3 and 4. Bryant, slow entry, and then Philip Cross takes it a little bit faster, but he loses a lot more ground.
The 3 and 4 Austin is going to be the trouble spot all race long, as we can expect. There will be the eventual cautions. Also very tricky to get into pit road, but more importantly, the more these tires get worn, the easier it is to spin coming out of turn 4 when you try to put the power down.
Yeah, especially when you try to put the power down. Looking at turn 3 and 4, down onto the inside. The number 12 car of Aaron Roos powering through it, trying to have a fight with Shane Burke. Burke and Roos side by side heading into turn 1. And Aaron Roos, I was talking with him before this race about setup-wise, and he was going all out on the setup this week. And definitely with that new team partnership with him, Aaron Roos, P11 in that MPU Wolfpack Esports car.
And of course, we will have an ally in the field, front of the field with Daledon as well. Philip Krause, newcomer to the series. Last week he had a fantastic showing with a podium, if I'm not mistaken, on the Roval, and already, showing that he is not to be, is to be taken into consideration tonight as well, because he is the only driver that has been holding on to the pace of Bryant there at the front. Daledon is 1.6 back from the race lead, and is being hounded by Andrea Saik. And here we go with the overtake, because Daledon has made a mistake.
Oh no!
Oh, that's big damage to his car.
Suspension damage for Alessandro Daledon. Very hard hit for him. Well, looks like he got into the wall, because that right side is very messed up.
And Alessandro told me that this is his favorite racetrack to race. So let's see what happened to him.
Coming out of 3 and 4. And very loose, but it's coming out of 1 and 2. Because you can take this full speed, flat out. It's just you gotta kind of manage your tires going into here, and you can already hear the car sliding a little bit, and that's just a big bit of understeer coming up to the wall, and oh.
Oh!
That is.
Oh!
Ooh! Cross and Bridal's getting into it together.
In Austin, this track has also the traditional, very slippery Japanese tarmac. It also has another problem, so to speak. Not a problem. It is very bumpy in some places. For example, the inside line in turn 1 and 2, if you're not careful, there are a couple of very nasty bumps that can really upset your car. As in the meantime, we have Pablo Marin fighting hard with Scott Sims and Aaron Roofs there behind with Paul Morgan. Scott Sims got a big fan club in the chat. So people asking for the strength of field. We say hello to Bobby Childs. We say hello, of course, to all the other viewers. Let's see the strength of field for tonight. Dramatic pause, of course. 2.9k.
2.9k straight to field, top split IndyCar race, and this race did split right before the race started, but let's take a ride on board with Aaron Roos and that wonderful new paint that he's running.
Gotta be careful of that white line, of course. Like I said, always, but especially later in the race, when you try to gain as much speed as possible. Look at the bump there, and another bump here for Aaron Roos there. Then
gotta watch your exit right there. We saw what happened to Alessandro Daledon.
Yeah, I mean, this track is quite a unique racetrack, as we see. Tends to push you wide, even in 3 and 4. Very interesting configuration, to say the least. Niall McBride there, as we see the fight between the two French Canadians, Pierre Bourdon and Charles-Éric Lemelin. as they are side by
good
side.
switchback.
Oh, wow, look at how close was Bourdon there to almost squeezing Lemlin into the wall. Good pass there, fantastic stuff from the two Canadians. So I'm happy to report that Barrett Rolfe is on the track. Unfortunately, he is quite a few laps down. He is effectively 6 laps down, which is, you know, not the way you want to start a race on the oval, especially in IndyCar, where there are no lucky dogs.
No lucky dogs whatsoever. And as we've been seeing in the recent oval races, especially at Homestead Miami, not a lot of cautions to save you as well and get you back up into the pack. As Alessandro Daudone, he is out of the race after his incident. And so you're going to be expecting a lot of green flag pit stops today. And you said the track is very slippery, so these tires are going to be put to work today, and especially with today's weather. So Marco, what is today's weather report?
Oh, absolutely, we forgot about the weather report, and there it is. All in your glorious Imperial units, and as you can see, the track is quite hot.
A sizzling 111 degrees Fahrenheit out on track today with 79 degrees in the air. So it's a very nice day to watch a race, but a very hot day on the track. And these tires are, if they're not already slippery, they're going to be very slippery today. And it's going to be another Homestead Miami race. If this stays green flag, where it's going to be all about when you pit for tires and how you manage these tires. 20 laps in, and there's already a big gap to the rest of the field from Bryant and Cross. Are they using their tires a little bit too much?
Also, a truckload of humidity, 91%, makes for a very, again, it's going to be a tough race. The difference between this and Homestead, I think, is that Homestead, here you can make more of a difference, even later in the run, because of the technique required, the sensitivity required in this particular portion of the track 3 and 4, where the more you go in the run, the more your ability to feather the throttle, to brake, shift the gears without upsetting the balance of the car is really going to pay off. But already 21 laps in the book, so this is a fairly quick lap around.
Charles got a great run coming out of turns 1 and 2. But yeah, great race so far today. A lot of close battles. And the Canadians are going at it again. Here comes Charles-Éric Lemaine side by side, heading down the front straight into turns 1 and 2. He's going to hold that inside line. Does he have the tires to hold it off? Yes, he does. Charles-Éric Lemaine fighting off Pierre Bourdon, just like Pierre did to him. But now, the ball's in Pierre's court.
Yeah, again, the two French.
Oh, no, they come together!
Oh, massive wreck!
That is not what we wanted to happen between the two Canadians, and both of them involved in a massive collision in turns 3 and 4. Let's get a replay of the 11 and the 14 heading into turns 3 and 4, and oh no!
We were talking about this before the broadcast, Austin, the risk of being rear-ended in 3 and 4 if you try to take a little bit more of a conservative approach. That is exactly what happened. Let's go on board with Pierre Bourdon.
Just a big ol' hit.
Sorry, that was the wrong camera. I wanted to show it from the front first. But there we go, as of course, needless to say, the caution is out. So here we go.
It looks like Charles just went into the brakes at that time. He did. It's a big hit for Charles. Very unfortunate for him as he is in the pits and out of his car. Well, as we are in our first caution, let's go through the field and see who our biggest mover is, and it is the man with the fans, Scott Sims, 9 places up, but who's going to win the battle off pit road here today?
Lovely view from up high.
Everyone's
Yeah.
going into there.
Everyone is in. I think Rolf has to stay out, of course, because the pits are closed.
Yeah, he's lapped.
And as you can see, maybe on the stream, I forgot to turn on the crowd because I race without a crowd because, you know, the crowd. No, in reality, I turned the crowd off because we were doing a race in Daytona on Sunday. If you, of course, you remember Austin, given that we were there. And I hate the fact that I racing even on the road course gives you like the full 500 crowd on the grandstands.
Andreas jumping, John Downing in the pits. And Scott Sims made a jump in the pits as well.
So yeah, in order to have yeah, Bobby Childs, of course.
Humans are overrated. Leave them off.
I don't want to sound like I'm full of myself, but I think that Bobby Childs is my biggest fan, even though I don't know why should I have fans, but you know, he's always supporting me even when I make stupid mistakes like this. But it was not in good faith because I hate to have road course races in Daytona with the full 500 crowd on the. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and of course, a true professional should remember to put the crowds back on. But this is also realistic in the sense that the last few races they had here, there was not a big crowd. Like, it was a bit more than this, of course. This is basically no one running around. But, you know, in the stands, there is no one. But, you know, yeah. I drive without crowd because I think that no one would want to come and watch my races, of course, no?
Don't think yourself like that, Marco.
No,
you got Bobby, you got me, you have some other people. I do have crowd on, and I must say, there is a crowd in the road course stands on the other side of this oval, so, yeah.
Loyal fans. You know, they...
Very loyal fans. They're watching something else.
You know,
they're watching theoretically for the Super Bowl.
Theoretically, you could have 2 races going on at the same time because
that is true.
The tracks never intersect each other. So
that is true. I would hate to see that happen. I would love to see that happen. But too bad we can't see this happen since the oval is no longer in operation. I believe the road course still is, though, right?
Yes, road course. It is still used for MotoGP and I think also Blancpain GT Asia. Well, for
the pace car. Yeah, as the pace car is making its final laps around, I believe this will be the last lap we have as the pace car lights go off. And it's one more lap to go, and that's Barrett Roth getting his lap back. So, technical lucky dog for Barrett Roth.
Yeah.
But it's not immediate since he's still down by 6 laps.
5 now.
5 laps now.
Nigel McBride has went in for I would imagine a splash fuel.
He doesn't want to be at the. He doesn't want to be in the middle of the pack, so he's dropped down to the end. I actually did this a lot when the IndyCar Fix Series went into Talladega, and I got 5 straight top 10s just doing that strategy. Started from the back of each pit lane. So whenever it was 1 lap to go or 2 to go, I would go into the pits, get a pit exit penalty, drop to the end of the field, and it worked so well. Yeah, 5 straight races in the top 10, and got my A license from that.
The only man to gain safety rating from Super Speedway Racing in IndyCar. Andreas Seidl looking to get a good run on the outside. The 2 leaders are on the inside. Very strange restart, and now they are fanning left and right, trying to get the best draft possible. Green flag is back in the air.
It looks like Philip Cross was trying to jump it, and Andreas Ike was just behind Simon Bryant, and Bryant didn't Brian was trying to catch Philip Cross off guard, but he caught everyone off guard. But Philip Cross not caught off guard on that exit as he's powered through all the way down to 3 and 4. They're side by side, but Cross has to drop back a little bit as here goes Bryant around the outside, but Cross on the inside on the exit. They're still side by side, but Bryant has the lead after that lap. They start lap 29 of 133 here at Twin Ring Motegi.
I thought it was going to be a pass for the lead, but great defending from Bryant. Will Cross try again as we jump on board with Andrea Saik, who has the best seat in the house on the inside. Can he keep the car there? And I think he will be able to. Yes, great pass from Philip Cross. He's in the lead in front of Bryant.
Oh, they're both going down the inside. They're still holding down the inside, going up into the nasty bumps. Philip Cross getting pushed out wide. Here comes Bryant into the lead, but here comes Andreas Ike stalking and hunting Kraus and Bryant as they battle for the lead. Andreas Ike looking like a wolf in the woods as Kraus dives it up the inside once more, and they're still side by side. Bryant has a lot of speed coming out of 3 and 4 side by side, heading into turns 1 and 2 this early on in the race. Bryant trying to hold around the outside. No go for him, but he will have the speed on the exit. This time he's going around the outside on the straight. Philip Kraus, that's going to hurt his corner entry. Kraus down onto the inside of the track. Bryant leaving that inside space alone. He doesn't want to have this hard of a battle early, but this is definitely hurting these guys' tires, but it's helping the rest of the field stay up with them as Bryant try to go around the outside once more, and Kraus defending onto that inside line. You just hear the tires just being worked off right now. This is great racing. They're both going to the middle of the track now.
Tears.
Bryant,
oh man,
so close to Kraus. Andreas Ike,
they are fighting so hard. So risky, man. So risky, but so exciting for us. I mean, I'm all for it.
I have the biggest grin right now. If we were allowed to show our faces during these things, you would just see arms flailing and a big old
Look
smile
at the
on my
blocking
face.
going on lap 33. These guys know the track position is important. If you can keep it clean and stay in front after, you know, after the first few laps of the fuel run. Oh! Now it's Bryant trying to block the youngster, but very talented and already very successful Andrea Saik, as Cross is looking to build a gap now that Bryant is under attack from Hike, as Downing is trying to close the gap and go help his teammate there at the front.
Kraus had a very bad corner entry right there. They're defending once more. Kraus diving down to the inside trap, but not as far as Simon Bryant as he retakes the lead. What crazy battle we have. This is IndyCar racing to a T. Here comes Bryant and Kraus once more heading into turns 3 and 4. You gotta be careful going into there when you're nose to gearbox.
The crowd, the real crowd in the chat, is really loving this. It's not over just yet. Here we go. Kraus back in the lead.
They're going so fast in these quarters. 204 miles an hour. Tooth and nail. White knuckle IndyCar racing as they're heading through turns 3 and 4. And
the white line. Careful.
That white line is so crucial right there. They're dropping down to 160 miles an hour coming out of 3 and 4. And it's flat out here. They're at 212 miles an hour.
Look
in
at
the draft. The tires are hurting for Simon Bryant. He's got to do a little bit of correction to avoid the wall. We saw how crucial the dirty area is here. Is he going to have a late dive into 3 and 4, trying to getting as much as he can to Philip Cross? You're going to see Philip Cross back end moving side to side. He's probably going to be adjusting that IndyCar weight jacker to keep his car pointed forward. And here goes once more. You just hear the tires struggling for grip on Simon Bryant's car.
So he goes up to 6th, then down to 4th. And back to see how gentle he is with the throttle. You can see his inputs there on the right side on top of the miles per hour counter there. You can see feathering his throttle. You cannot afford to push hard, to stomp on that gas pedal, even though you are really tempted to, Austin, no? You are tempted, but you cannot do it.
These guys have much more patience on pedals than I do.
Certainly more than me. And you have more patience than me, so that's why I always speed in this corner.
You said it, I didn't. Let's go into the midfield right now, as all the cars are kind of spread out except for at the front. But we do have a fight right now between Neil McBride and Pablo Marin, as they're having a good old battle for P8.
Yeah, Pablo disappointing because he started 6 positions ahead of where he is right now, P3, so good qualifying for him, but so far
Not
he
the
hasn't
best
been
pit
able...
stop. I think everyone who got to jump in the pit stop, it was Pablo Marin, who didn't have the best pit stops in the world, and he may have missed his pit stop right there. Riding on board, Scott Sims.
Is that like Matt Black?
That is Matt Black
on the front. Beautiful.
I think that's Matt everything. But Scott Sims up 11 places from where he started. The biggest mover so far in this field. He's been messaging me saying he's been having a very rough season so far in IndyCar, and he's trying to get a good race down. And this will be his best finish so far in IndyCar this season in P5, and I think he'll be very pleased about that in this top split race. And Downing going down to the inside of Ike. Ike struggling behind Bright. Here it comes John Downing to challenge for P3.
Downing, of course, a teammate to Bryant. They will, I think, work with each other. I think if Downing is quicker, he'll be let go by his teammate, even though this is still something that we'll have to deal with. So Bobby Childs, one of our viewers and also MX5 legend, is pointing out that Andrea Sykes' car is very, very tight. So now it might also be possible for, I think, Scott Sims to launch an attack and maybe improve his position. Look how much he's tilting his wheel to the right. For those that don't know this is done in order to maximize, or minimize, I should say, the wheel movement when you actually take the corner. Something that I actually love to do on ovals. It feels weird to see people go on the straight on the oval and having to keeping the wheel straight, to keep your wheel pointing to the right, in my opinion. That's me.
Hopefully that's only you, because it doesn't bug me at all. But Scott Sims, he is getting a big old run on Andreas Ike. This might be one of those tracks that Ike is just not a fan of. We were talking before the race on how this track was not really a lot of people's favorites. I am a fan of weird stuff. This is one of my favorite tracks on the iRacing service, because not only is turns in the radius wise, turns 1 and 2 completely different, but it's also the banking as well.
See, people agree with me in the chat.
No, they're agreeing with me on the chat.
Well, we have the entire 2 hours of battles tomorrow to argue about this. So if you want to join us on Apex Racing TV at 14 GMT.
UTC.
Yes, you
or
can join
8 a.m. Central if you're American, like me. It'll be another early stream for me, which me in the morning is just as hyper as I am right now.
See?
And Scott Sims so close!
Oh, wow, look at that, so close to the wall.
Going around the outside, then he switched back onto the inside, heading into turns 3 and 4. Scott Sims late on the brakes, but not as late as Andreas Ike did. And Andreas going to try to minimize his damage right now. There's still side-by-side, but Sims down onto the inside. Ike had the speed coming out of the exit. He can cut off Sims right now, but Sims still down onto the inside. Side-by-side they go. Sherman Vandersloot's in the pits. We aren't going to leave this battle as they're coming out of turns 1 and 2, heading into 3 and 4. Andreas Ike still ahead of Scott Sims.
Don't know if it's a regularly scheduled stop for Sherwin or if he hit the barrier. We'll have to go back. There is no incident remark on our event
It says
viewer.
he's out. It says he's
Okay.
out, so he may have hit the wall. And
Yeah.
Andreas Ike falling down the order once more, and that's another position gain for Scott Sims. But here comes Ike once more. He doesn't want Sims ahead of him at all. And they're still going side by side, just like we saw at the front of the field. Side by side they go. Sims are on the outside. Ike down onto the inside. But Ike's car not helping him as much. We were saying that he was running a tight car. I believe he may have set his car up for the late tire run, but it doesn't look like that because Scott Sims is ahead. And he's pretty much cemented that position right now. Scott Sims, biggest mover in this field, up 12 spots, P4. Here's a replay of Sharon Vandersloot. Turns 3 and 4. Oh, understeer. It's a very dangerous stop for him. And oh. Woo-hoo-hoo.
See the lap time history between the two leaders. Looks like Cross is slowly but surely pulling away, 2.2 seconds. And Bryant and Downing are lapping identical lap times, the two teammates. Let's see,
Yeah,
Andrea Syke. Andrea Syke is dropping badly. Here comes Laura Gerhardt.
Yeah, Gerhardt on the charge right now. I haven't talked with Laura Gerhardt in a while, but from my knowledge of IndyCar races here, the one IndyCar race that they did run here, I believe it was won by Danica Patrick.
You are absolutely correct. A fuel mileage race, which this might be still. So yeah. And Laura is always there or thereabouts, and also, just like Danica, has a green car. It was a different shade of green, but you know what I mean.
It was a different sponsor as well.
Yeah.
Great commercials, by the way, but...
How good is that you have an Italian co-commentator that knows a bit of American culture, so I know what you're talking about.
Aaron Roos behind Laura Gerhardt and Andreas Ike. And Roos has been very consistent today, up 8 positions from where he qualified, definitely showing the new team partnership sponsor that he's a part of. Wolfpack Esports. We saw Alessandro Dalladone running with the full Wolfpack car, and if you put these cars side by side together, they're exactly the same paint scheme, just a different shade of color.
Now, who's going to pay for the repairs of that car?
Me.
Welcome to the club, man. Welcome to the. I have to repay so many smashed cars by Dalladone.
Oh, an early stop from Neil McBride. Don't see any damage. This is a scheduled stop for McBride.
Remember, he stopped midway through the caution. Maybe, like you were saying, to get out of trouble, out of traffic.
He's also joined by Barrett Roth.
Yeah. So here come the leaders, and he will go one lap down. Will Niall McBride go?
He'll probably go down 3 laps down, honestly. At least 2 laps down, because a pit lane time around here is about 43 seconds, and a lap around here is 27 seconds. So they're definitely going down 1 lap, but on pit exit, they can get caught out, and they'll be exiting right ahead of Philip Kraus.
So here is Cross, and here is McBride, entering 3 and 4, so he's down by 1 lap and a bit, basically, but the important thing is it's just 1 lap still, as you can see on the left side of your screen.
It's a very weird stop from McBride and Ralph. I think they were just going for tires and fuel because the fuel window is very longer than what they did. And Laura Gerhardt diving down the inside of Andreas Ike for P5. Ike struggling for grip in that very tight car. I don't know if his setup is geared towards open air running or dirty air running, but he's certainly struggling with it right now. And Laura Gerhardt is powering on and trying to close down on Andreas Ike. And we're already halfway. Nope. We're just about halfway through this race.
It has gone by very quickly as we have 36 minutes on the clock. This is the closest fight on the field right now. Oh! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
I
Whoa!
get to the pits. Jeez.
Man, oh man.
Hello, heart attack. I need medication. Coming out of nowhere. Woo-hee.
This is the correct replay. As Shane Burke is also in.
Code Brown. Laura Gerhardt slowed up. Oh.
Pablo Marin is in the pits.
I need a change of pants.
Clark Archer is in. We can expect, I think the floodgates have been officially opened.
Floodgates have opened, but not for Philip Cross. Philip Cross say, "I see y'all in the pits, and I'm gonna tell you, you're a lap down now." Because Cross, he didn't have to deal with any of that dirty air. He only had to deal with it at the front. Like, at the front of this restart, and now he's just been looking after his tires, watching his fuel, and he's going to go as long as he can. And this is a great strategy from Philip Cross. Clark Archer coming out of the pits right now with Pablo Marin. Andreas Ike car stopped earlier. We're going to see on how fast these cars on newer tires are going, but can they catch up to the rest of the field?
Gotta be careful on pit out, of course. The apron very slippery, very bumpy. Everyone has behaved nicely so far, not making any kind of mistake. You can see Crow's top 9 are on the lead lap. 10th place and Peck are 1 lap down. So McBride has jumped Ike, even though, yeah, pitted 5 laps earlier, did the number 15 compared to the number 1. Oh,
and
dear.
Roof's late stop went wide. There might be damage on that car. It's a very down low. Goes Aaron Roofs. Down low. Oh, a lot of understeer. Ladies and he kept it out of the wall. He kept it out of the wall. But his car just shot off to the left like something disconnected. May have been a technical issue. It's right on board with Aaron Roofs. Ooh. Oh, he slid.
Good save.
Good save, though, from
Mamma
Aaron
mia.
Roofs. Almost. Give me a heart attack, man.
So, we've seen some interesting pit entrances tonight. So far, we have escaped major drama. The only big wreck was the one between Pierre Bourdon and Charles-Éric Lemelin. Pierre Bourdon is still on the track while his fellow Canadian is not. Liam Rance is entering the pits, but the leaders, Austin, are still going strong as we are heading into lap number 70. And
Clark Archer is looking to unlap himself. But first of the top 3, John Downing heading into the pits. Let's turn on board Clark Archer because we can compare tires and how they're using them. Clark Archer is chasing down Liam Krause right now. He's going to try to unlap himself. And this is showing you how much grip these new tires have on these older tires. And short pitting can work here at Twin Ring Motegi if you can use them right. I would say Philip Cross is going for a 2-stop right now. He's trying to maximize the strategy and just go as long as he can and then head into the pit stop. But John Downing pitting earlier than him. He's going to have a good run, but Scott Sims heading into the pits right now.
So 2 weeks ago in Homestead Oval, we saw that pitting late was the key to the victory. As we see,
which led to the greatest last lap battle I've seen on an oval. Really wasn't much of a battle, but a great strategy.
Yeah, it was exciting to say the least. I mean, it was and everything we could have asked for, especially since we were coming from the disappointment of Richmond on the oval side, Gerhardt in, Bourdon in. So
don't remind me of that race.
3 drivers yet to pit: Philip Cross, Simon Bryant, and Paul Morgan. You see him here.
Yeah, Morgan, the lowest I rating in the field, looking nice at P3. There's Andreas Ike getting around him, but he's already a lap down. And this is smart from Morgan, pitting in when the leader pits in. And speaking of leader, he's pitting in right now.
And Bryant follows him. Let's see if Morgan will follow him as well.
Probably. Yeah, he's going into the pits right now. You don't hear him getting on. Nope, you do hear him getting on the throttle. Paul Morgan is staying out. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new leader in Twin Ring Motegi, Paul Morgan.
Let's follow the fight here. Here comes Cross. Bryant also coming into his pit stall. Of course, they are very close to each other, being the two front row drivers of the race. Here comes Cross. And here comes
Bryant had a better stop going in there. Going into the pits. Yeah, Brian was 2 seconds faster on his stop. And Paul Morgan heading into the pit lane right now. And Simon Bryant. Oh, it's John Downing now taking third place. Downing's jumped Bryant.
Yes, it oh! Yes, he did. He almost smacked the wall there. As you see there behind, Bryant trying to go past one of the... I think that is Shane Burke, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he is. Here comes Morgan out of the pits. He will stay on the lead lap. Freshest tires of the field, so he can really push. Let's see what happens here.
The two Sadie Simsport cars is going to swap positions and use IndyCar Team Penske tactics to close down on Philip Cross in purple sectors for Simon Bryant. Philip Cross just set the fastest sector. Oh, yeah, it was fastest lap, last lap for Simon Bryant of a 27:15. That was 0.3 faster than the rest of the field. And I believe Bryant and Downing could use to work together and chase down Philip Cross right here. Because if you look at the times, they are closing down. 0.8 seconds separates them. Yeah, his pit stop was just massive for Simon Bryant. Gained 3.2 seconds on him.
And he keeps on losing. This could be the decisive moment in the race, Austin. 78 laps out of 133. We just hit the 45 minutes mark in this race. Thanks to all of you for following us. You have been fantastic all season long. We still have more to bring you, of course. Still several weeks left, 4 weeks left after this. So, we are getting into the nitty-gritty of the championship. Half a second away. Now the dirty air will come into play, I think. But the tires are still very fresh.
Bryant is getting a lot of speed up on the exit of these corners. And he's in the draft, so no wonder. But going into these corners, you can see on how much Kraus is powering on these tires. And Bryant is not pressuring these tires at all. He's just letting the draft carry him. This is smart driving by Simon Bryant. Philip Cross is begging these tires for grip, but Bryant is just easing down, cruising down like a Tokyo bullet train on Philip Cross. going to that corner, it was 2 tenths separating out them coming out of the corner, 4 tenths. But watch the delta drop now between them as they're coming through 1 and 2. Bryant's car loves 1 and 2 right now. 3 tenths, 2 tenths. You get a tenth some more. And coming through 3 and 4, the tenths are gaining up, back up to 4 tenths now. Bryant is playing games with Kraus.
The only problem is if he doesn't hurry making a move, then the tires might fall off and the dirty air once again becomes king or queen. I don't know if you have the concept of of that. But yeah, I mean, he's going for it. Just that was just a a warning message from Bryant.
Well, it certainly worked because 4 tenths usually is the separation. He's now within 2.25 tenths within Kraus, and he's gaining some more. He's gonna rocket down the back straight. This could be the move for the lead of the race. We've seen how hard these guys fight. He's gonna send it down the inside of turns 3 and 4. It was a dummy though. He certainly got me on it. I guess I'm a dummy. But it didn't get Philip Kraus as they're battling once more. And let's resume this wonderful battle between these two drivers.
Oh, he's got a great run, man.
Of this race, great run. Kraus defending onto the inside. You don't want to be on the inside of this corner because you can send it around the outside of 3 and 4. Bryant, though, not the best entry through that corner. Kraus using all the track, using all the tire grip. Once more defending down the inside. He's using every bit of the mechanical advantage that he has in these tires to stay ahead of Simon Bryant. And Bryant front wing to gearbox as he swings around the outside. And we got a drag race here at Twin Ring Motegi.
Fantastic stuff and great defending from Kraus, but Bryant always seems to have the better exit. Oh, now the blocking comes into place. As you can see, I love the eye line in 1 and 2. Austin is so satisfying to get it right. Another fantastic run from the Sadie driver. Look at this. Oh, wow.
Oh, you can put a toothpick between these guys.
And still in 3 and 4, very strong from Kraus. And then he's able to keep somewhat good line and decent speed. But, oh, now once again on this. Oh! How did they survive?
What just happened?
And still they are going at it. Fantastic stuff, great driving. Hopefully they don't crash because this is absolutely one of the best battles we have seen all season long. Still side by side. This time Bryant has the inside. Who's going to get the better run? Is Kraus going to use the outside line? They are very close.
We've seen Simon Bryant love that outside line, that longer line. Can Philip Kraus do it like Bryant? Yes, he can. He's got a run. He's twitching inside, outside, a little bit.
Oh, he's going for it.
Bryant and Kraus very low, holding on to that inside line on the apex, and Bryant drops down a lot, trying to avoid contact. That screaming stereo.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I apologize for all the viewers who got hearing impairment after that last bit of commentary. This is not over, by the way. Oh no, don't push him out, please. Wow.
We're justified in that reaction. If you would be too.
See, the tires are starting to come into play, starting to fall off for these drivers as Andreas Eich is in the pits.
Whoa! Did he hit the wall? No.
No.
He's going to the end. He's calculated how much he needs on the tires to go to the end. Andreas Eich is trying a super strategy here at Twin Ring Motegi to go to the end of the race from this point on. And Clark Archer is that car ahead of Philip Kraus and Simon Bryant, providing Kraus with a draft and dirty air.
Oh yeah, dirty air indeed. Let's see how they will. Seems like he's going to stay politely out of the way, and that's what happens for Cross. And of course now it's Brian's turn. Oh, the worst possible position.
Clark Archer, being from Texas, very polite in his driving. That wasn't the best thing to do, but very polite, getting out of the way of the leaders as fast as he can. Let's go down through the field. We got a great battle between Rance and Morgan.
Yeah, and also McBride and Sims are going at it. I think the fight for the lead is just being postponed, basically. But these guys have shown that in the first, I'd say, 20 laps of the tire run, they can go hard, you know. Then after that, the tires start to fall off as McBride is heading for the pits.
Yeah.
Imagine. So very short second stint for all these drivers.
We were talking about the short stop. Either this is just preemptive.
Oh dear!
Chaos.
Wow, that was
a weird
very
sound.
close. Once again, so we screamed earlier. Now it was like a monster voice, I'd say. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination, by the way.
They call it the land of the rising sun. I call this track the land of the rising heart rates, because this is some close racing going on right now.
Concept of the rising sun, which is expressed in Japanese by two kanjis, ni and hon. Ni means sun and hon the act of rising. Therefore, nihon means rising of the sun. That's where the Japan nickname comes from.
This history lesson brought to you by Marco Barbonero.
Oh yeah.
And
Sims and
Roos and Sims going into the pits, the two biggest movers of this race. Both of them heading into the pits, and we now have a new biggest mover. Liam Rance up 13 spots. But early pit stop for Scott Sims and Aaron Roos. Their pit stops right next to each other, and it was a very calm pit stop for Roos. And apparently I've been compared to Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
Well, I do scream, I'm alive whenever I wake up, so it's justified. Riding on the back of Pablo Marin, looking back at Paul Morgan and Pierre Bourdin. As this is a close fight between these two, and
Of course, a caution now would be interesting to say the least. Here comes Morgan.
Chaos.
Back at the front, thanks to the traffic, gap is getting closer and closer. It was 0.3 of a second entering 3 and 4, now back to 0.5 of a second. But still super close as the dirty air punishing the race leaders, as we have a very slow car there on the apron. That is Sims.
Is that Sims? It looked like Sims. Oh! Almost a touch on the back straight. That was the 17 car. That was Liam Rance going slow. Almost getting into contact with John Downing. And Rance on these new tires, he's trying to pressure his way as Downing going into the pit lane. Did he hit the wall? Or come close to hitting the wall with that incident? Okay, no, that was Simon Bryant getting close with the 17.
The amount
And
of
these
lap
guys-
cars there.
Almost everyone, actually it is everyone, lapped in the field except for P2, who is directly behind Kraus. Minus the 2 lapped cars that are all 3 lapped cars.
Oh no,
No. What is going on here?
Almost 3 wide there.
Liam Rance making it go 3 wide with Laura Gearhart. He's just trying to race, trying to get his lap back, but he just can't do it. They're pack racing a lap down ahead of P2. If I was Simon Bryant, I would pit right now and avoid the upcoming crash that is
here we
happening
go.
right now. Did I just call that? Yes, I did. No yellow flag, though.
That was Bourdon, I think, going sideways.
Yeah, Bourdon is
was...
going sideways, and he has front wing damage.
So Bourdon, another close call for him. After what happened earlier in the race. So Bryant is in, Cross stays out. So Bryant is going for the undercut. Let's see when Cross will answer the call. Not this time around, as he's continuing. Here comes Bryant out of the pits. Bourdon has to pit as well. And I think Archer also will go past him. Here comes John Downing, his teammate. Will he pass him, or will he slot him behind?
He's got the speed on him, heading into 3 and 4. Kraus is in the pit lane. This is the time to light the tires and set the fires for everyone behind Kraus. Bourdon is in P2, but he hasn't gone into the pits yet. And I think Kraus had a little bit of a mistake going to pit entry. Oh yeah, you saw that big old wiggle right there.
Oh yeah.
That will hurt his pit entry time. And Bourdon, new leader at Twin Ring Motegi.
Here we go, this is going to be close.
Bryant and Kraus on the pit exit. You see Kraus on the inside, but miles ahead of Simon Bryant. Those lapped cars that Bryant was behind was certainly hurting him, but Bryant, we're going to have to get this... He's going to have to close in a lot, and we're going to have another rematch right now as they're 1.7 seconds separating each other, as Gerhardt and Rance battle with each other more. Bourdon going into the pits, and the battle for the front resumes to the usual suspects.
Now, what a race this is.
What a grand old race it is. Some would call it boring. If you call this boring, you're out of your mind. This is great side-by-side racing and strategy from all these drivers with less than 30 laps to go. Well, less than 25 laps to go here at Twin Ring Motegi.
Can you imagine if we get a caution?
If we get a caution right now, this race will turn from grand old side-by-side race to Dr. Seuss's wacky world of motorsports. And also, Kraus is pulling away from Bryant.
Yes, he is. 2 seconds, now the gap! These two are fighting
close.
so hard. So hard. Gerhardt runs in the past like 10-15 laps. And also there is the driver that qualified third, Pablo Marin, is sitting there waiting for an opportunity to pounce. Of course, the more the laps start counting down, the more these drivers get a little bit more desperate, a little bit more aggressive.
Here comes Rance once more. Rance looking down the inside. And he's running the same paint as Scott Sims, actually. So I believe they're linked to each other. And I believe they are teammates. But Rance, very risky move. And he does get up into P9. And here it comes Marin on Gerhardt. They are teammates, okay.
Yes.
Oh, Clark Archer into the pits. We saw him stay out, so I'm not surprised by this stop from Clark Archer. He's running a very nice race today. Been having not the best luck on road courses, though.
No, but could have a good result tonight. Let's see how it works for him as this fight is still going on.
Oh my goodness!
Oh dear.
That's Kraus right there getting past Gerhardt, splitting the gap, shooting the chutes around these guys. You can see how much grip he's got compared to everyone else, and how much smoother he is. Here's McBride and Sims. Sims getting on McBride by miles. Sims can make the move into 3 and 4, but he's lifting off actually. He's saving fuel.
Could be,
Surprise.
or just you know, not feeling confident enough to pull an overtake there. Gap now at the front, 1.8 seconds. Of course, ebbing and flowing because of the traffic. Let's bring in the track map. Why not?
That is a big old gaggle of cars right behind Kraus, and you can see the first 2 dots that you see between Kraus and Bryant. There is 4 cars between them.
And there's Rans, Gerhardt, Marin, and then you should see Bryant in there.
Oh, there is 4 cars.
4 cars.
And they are fighting for position as well.
Rolf is the other. Rolf, of course, trying to, you know, he's not actively fighting with anyone, but of course he wants to honor the race, and therefore he's going for moves, which is in his full right.
But there is a battle for 8th place right now between Gerhardt and Rance. And Rance is known for making some risky moves, but he's also in the fight for the biggest mover of the race. Both Rance and Scott Sims are up 10 spots. So he's one of those bragging rights right now.
And McBride still defending from Sims. Here we go.
411 spots up. Scott Sims heading down the inside. And that is P5. Top 5 for Scott Sims.
Oh, wow. He thought about it for a second.
And Clark Archer's going to swing around the outside saying, if you ain't going to fight him, I'm going to fight him back. I don't care if I'm a lap down. I'm crazy enough.
The front 2.5 seconds now. Ever increasing. See the situation of the iRating gains and losses. The biggest gainer would be Cross with plus 67, plus 66 for Sims. And of course the biggest loser is Aledon, who is going to lose around 92 points. Let's always imagine, you know, calculate 1 point more, 1 point less of the estimate.
Side by side. Oh, Gerhardt is just caught in this mess right now. She's just trying to get around Rance, trying to catch him out, but Rance is trying to hold down that inside, stay ahead of Gerhardt, but that lapped car is just sitting right there, and Rance is getting into his back end, and they touch. And here comes Gerhardt. Gerhardt's going to sneak it up to the inside, and she's going to have a good one, but Rance did that draft of, I believe that's Barrett. Yeah, that's Barrett Ralph right now. And Rance is going to cut ahead of Gerhardt. She's not going to like that.
Oh, wow. Oh. This corner, the entry of this corner always scares me. Great run from Laura Gerhardt.
Here comes Gerhardt. Gerhardt almost touching the back wheel, saying, "Get out of my way, boy." With about 11 laps to go here at Twin Ring Motegi, things are heating up in the midfield and may have race impacting conditions, as there is Simon Bryant carving his way through these two. When I say carving, is absolutely destroying this battle. but he is a lap ahead. He has all the right to do so, and Gerhardt can use this to her advantage. Let's see if Rance plays fair game.
But here comes Marin.
Oh my goodness, Rance diving late down onto the inside. Gerhardt sitting into the draft, swinging into 3 and 4. Rance is slowed down onto the inside. Gerhardt has the speed, but here comes Marine. It's a 3-way fight for P8. Gerhardt right on the back of Rance now, and Rance has the dirty air of Bryant ahead of him. Here comes Gerhardt. Gerhardt looking wide. Gerhardt looking to the outside. Rance not giving room. Almost collision between them once more. This could end in chaos any time between these two. And if I was Simon Bryant, I would wish it does. But Gerhardt got the speed around the outside and swings ahead of Rance now and takes P8. And Pablo Marine looking to do the same for P9. Look down to the inside. Thought about it. Didn't want it. He's just playing mind games right now with Rance. Comes more Marine once more. Rance diving very early into turn 1. Very close.
Oh, close to the
Still
wall
close
there.
on the exit. Beautiful racing between these two. Rance getting ahead of Marine. Marine staying straight. Rance down onto the inside once more. Side by side they go for another lap. Side by side through turn 1.
Ooh, again, so close between the pair of them, and the fact that you can dive into 3 and 4 makes it always a risky proposition to try to make the overtake on the outside. You never know if the car on the inside is able to hold their line or not, and they are still exchanging positions, lap in and lap out, the pair of them. Now Marine will have a good run and will try to go for the inside, and maybe finally complete the pass.
He's got the speed on him. He's got the inside line. He's got the advantage, but Rance swinging it in there. What a move by Rance. You think you would have the inside line, you would have full-on advantage there, but if you just get it right on the money, like Rance just did through that corner, you can stay ahead, and Marine must be rubbing his eyes out of disbelief of what just happened.
You cut away for just a second because we have a fight for 4th with Scott
Sims and Ike. Sims, 11 places up, biggest mover in the field, looking for that top 4. Coming down the straight. Looking through turns 1 and 2, Andreas Ike looks to have figured out his car throughout this race. May have got some adjustments on the weight jacker. But remember, Andreas Ike went into the pits on lap 89. Scott Sims lap 95. Ike is on 6 lap older tires than Scott Sims. And here comes Sims, looking down the inside. Not going to send it, though. Just going to disrupt Andreas Ike. Good strategy call from Sims. As Kraus is going to come across the back straight. He's got 6 more corners. 5 more corners. 4 more corners to go. Marco, take it away.
Shiro Inokaki, sale la Blanca here at Motegi.
That was a new one. Wasn't expecting that. Last lap for Philip Cross, and he comes through turns 1 and 2, and he can just coast it right now and wave it on to the fans, because coming across 3 and 4 for one last time, taking the win here at Twin Ring Motegi. It's Philip Cross. And back to the fight for fourth. Sims sending up the inside of Ike. Side by side they go on the last lap. Ike around the outside, side by side. The battle for fourth on the outside of the podium. Sims down onto the inside. Ike around the outside. Sims got the speed up onto the inside. It's going to be a drag race down the front straight. Sims got the speed. Sims gets speed. Forward at the line.
Fantastic stuff, fantastic stuff. Omedetou gozaimashita, Philip Cross. What a fantastic win, but I have to say thank you to all the drivers because this was one of the best races I've ever had the pleasure to commentate on. There were fights all over the field, fights for the lead, fight in the mid-pack. Fantastic stuff, a unique racetrack and a deserved winner, and now I'm expecting some big old donuts from Philip Kraus as he will hopefully entertain the non-existent crowd in the stands, but more importantly, our great crowd in the chat. Here we go.
Great racer Kraus and a beautiful turnout as well. A good old signature, I must say. It's Philip Kraus taking the victory here at Twin Ring Motegi ahead of Simon Bryant and John Downing on the podium. Sadie Simsport 2 and 3 ahead of Scott Sims, Andreas Ike, Neil McBride, Aaron Roofs, Laura Gerhardt, Liam Rance, Pablo Marine, Paul Morgan, Pierre Bourdin, Clark Archer, Barrett Roof, Shane Burke, Sherman Vandersloot, Charles Eric Lemon, and Alessandro D'Adone in P18. What a crazy, crazy race we saw here today.
It is fantastic, fantastic. Really one of the best since we started doing this, Austin. And I have to say that, it has been beautiful, beautiful to see these guys fight. I was a bit concerned in the days leading up to this because I thought that this not being a very popular track might have been participation deep. Not that we had a split, and what a nice split we had with 18 great drivers, some new names, some old names. Philip Cross, who, if I'm not mistaken, did his first appearance in the series, at least since we started broadcasting it last Friday with a podium. Does finished in third. Well, he does two better and goes to win the race. Let's see if we have drivers ready for interviews. Yes, we have plenty of them, to be fair. So I would say that Austin, you pick first.
Well, I say let's go to oh my goodness, they're just hopping in all over the place. This is a lot of people, but let's go to our good old friend Aaron Roofs because I really want to talk to him. Howdy, 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 Aaron. How are you doing?
Good.
So it was a.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So it was a very crazy race for you at the start. Didn't have the best qualifying, but you moved up through the grid 8 spots, and you were just looking nice today. I saw you doing a lot of preparation throughout the week, but walk us through the race. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was hot track, man. I wish it was cooler. It would have been, I think, even more fun. But yeah, just qualifying was bad, and so I'm just like, I'll just have to work through it, and just kind of took my time and took what came to me, and just kind of got in a rhythm. It was nice that there was a lot of long green flag runs. So
Yeah, only one caution, so that must have brought a smile to your mind.
yeah, it's tough though, because when the tires, because I know was behind Laura for a while, and my tires, and I was just trying to figure out a way. I'd get up to her and then I'd fall back a little bit, and it's a little frustrating on that point. But at the same time, it was good racing.
Well, glad you had fun. Great race as always. Before we let you go, anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, my new teammates, Wolf Pride Esports,
Wolfpack.
and Wolfpack. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, I'm glad to be part of you guys, and I'm glad it came with a solid 7th for the first race with the team. So I look forward to next week.
All right. Thank you, Aaron, and you have a good night.
Thanks. Talk to you guys later.
That was the one, the only, the savvy ninja, Aaron Roots. Marco, who you standing by with?
Well, we are ready to have a chat with Simon Bryant. Should be here with us. Hello, Simon.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Well, we are very happy because it was a super exciting race, but tell us about it from your perspective because you have been in some great battles tonight.
Yeah, it was kind of an on and off race. So started off well. Felt like we had a good car, especially in the clean air. You know, we were able to kind of keep Philip behind us. And after that first caution, you know, it got a little frustrating sitting behind him for a little bit. Front tires just wore out, and then we tried to get him on strategy a little bit. Both John and I were kind of working it, so he'd pit first, and I'd pit right after, just see if we could get both of us a little closer and try to do the undercut, and then. Unfortunately, on that last stint, just lap traffic just kind of ruined the end of the race for us. You know, we had 4 cars in between me and Phil at one point, like from the outset of the stint, and it just kind of broke everything down from there.
So you won in Homestead 2 weeks ago on the oval. Second place today. Seems like you are feeling very much at ease on the ovals. What about road courses then? Do you think that's you are on the same level of ability on both kind of disciplines, or do you think that you can do a bit more on the road side?
I feel I'm fairly consistent on both. You know, setup wise, we're not as good on the road. I think that's primarily what it comes down to, is just not having quite the setup knowledge that, you know, the Sadie team as a whole has on ovals. And Motegi, you know, Homestead, Texas, Kentucky, those seem to be some of our better tracks that we do really well at. So we just have pretty good sets for these kind of tracks.
One more question, of course. Next week, the series will be on the modified version of Sebring, the track that IndyCar in real life uses for winter testing. Of course, first thing that comes to mind is going to be a bumpy ride in Sebring.
Yeah, dampers are going to be real important to keep it nice and smooth throughout, and then obviously keep the car nice in check. So just work on the dampers a lot this week, and you know, ensure we got a decent setup. We usually do all right at Sebring, so that will make me feel a little bit better, I think. So look.
Well, thank you very much, Simon. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Obviously, thanks for John. He's a great teammate. Great to run with him today. Rest of the team: Dave, Brad, John, Rick, and
Awesome. Thank you very much, Simon. Enjoy the rest of your day and catch you next week, hopefully.
thanks, guys.
That was Simon Bryant. Let's hop over to third place. That was second place. Let's bring in third place of John Downing. Howdy, John. How was that race for you?
Oh, kind of uneventful. Just kind of had what I had. I knew I couldn't keep up with Simon and Phillips, so it was just making sure I didn't make a mistake and get myself, to drop back somehow.
Well, he liked at home in third place when he got up there, but earlier on the race, you did kind of drop back. You started down in fifth place, but you moved. But after that first caution, you did get a good jump on the restart and stay in P3.
Yeah, I lost a few positions. I think it was back to 7th or 8th before the first pit stop, and I was fast again, but I couldn't get around one of the drivers. And after I short filled a little bit of that first pit stop, it moved me up a few positions, and then after that, it was just running it out.
Yeah, we were noticing a lot of the second pit stop was very short for a lot of drivers. Was short fueling part of the strategy all around? Were you always planning to do that?
Yeah, I did. I was banking that we wouldn't have a lot of cautions. I mean, I was full fuel in to start, but then I was short filled at other stops because I figured we'd run green, and there was no sense in being out on track longer than you really needed to in a run because you were just getting slower every lap.
All right. Yeah, the track was very, very slippery, so it was very understandable that you would short pit and very smart move. Next track is the modified version of Sebring. What are you looking forward to that track?
I like it. I haven't run the modified too much. I'd like the longer one better, but it's fun. You got to, and setup's important because of the bumps. And so if you can get a car to keep your grip, it's a fun. You can really get on it and hustle it.
All right. Well, hopefully you are prepared for that one next week. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Just the guys on Sadie. We work really well together and usually come up with setups that are pretty close. So this was another good one for the team to work together.
Well, you finished two and third here, both taking another steps on the podium. So hopefully you're going for that win next week.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We'll give it a shot.
All right. Thanks, John, and you have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
And now I think it's for our last interview and probably the best one saved for last, the biggest mover in the field. Ladies and gentlemen, you gave us a great last lap fight, I must say. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Scott Sims.
How's it going? I'm just finally glad that I finally finished one.
Yeah, I brought up the messages you sent me that you've been having a nightmare of a season, so you
Yeah.
must be over the moon right now with a P4.
Oh, definitely. Feel pretty good, and I think it helped having a teammate, just someone to talk to, maybe get my head straight. But yeah, that was a tough one. Definitely, Andreas made a decision to pit first out of everybody, and I was just gonna wait for a second, and then when McBride also pitted, I knew that I had to pit early with him because those were pretty much the only two guys I was racing, and McBride and Andreas, they had better cars early, and mine was better late. So I pretty much just followed behind McBride for a while until his stuff went away, and then thanks to a couple of lap cars, I was able to break that draft off and go track down Andreas, and he's not easy to get by. He puts up a pretty fair fight, and yeah, it's definitely yeah. I'm just happy to finish one.
Well, certainly your fan club is very happy. You had a lot of fans in chat. Did they follow you wherever you go?
Absolutely. Yeah, I went to Walmart a couple days ago, and they all came with me, and I mean, they pushed the buggy for me when I'm getting the little high boost little baby seat. But anyway, but yeah, I'm sure some of them were my teammates and my Asian Velocity teammates, and we had a new livery out there today. Show off.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I pretty much after the start of the season was pretty bad. I just told myself that I just need to get in the groove for next season, and it's a good start. Just kind of get a few more finishes and work towards next season.
Well, it's definitely a good foothold to start off of. The things are looking up for you from now on, especially February through the rest of this year. Hopefully, it's going to be good for you. Before we let you go, anyone you want to shout out?
I guess my teammate from this race, Liam, it was his first IndyCar race, and he got P9. He sounded like he was had a great job back there, and all my other Asian Velocity teammates, and my mom and Jesus and Mountain Dew, and I'm not sure if I can say Mountain Dew, so
You can.
I can. Okay.
That was the most American shout out in the world. I loved it.
Roll Tide, baby.
All right. Thank you, Scott. You go have yourself a great old night. I'm going to ask you this because I think you, Marco, and I are like massive football fans. Who you rooting for in the Super Bowl?
I think Kansas City because I'm a Falcons fan, and it just really hurts to see Shanahan and his run, and I mean because the Super Bowl from a couple years ago, all of it just hurts. So I'm gonna go for Kansas City. Everybody likes Andy Reid. We want to see him win one.
All right, thank you, Scott. You go have yourselves a good old night, and you
Yeah,
go
thanks for having
thank
me.
your fans. Okay, everyone, that was Scott Sims. Marco, time to wrap up this race.
Oh yes, so as per usual, thanks for joining us. We will catch you, of course, tomorrow at 14 GMT for the Apex Racing League Bathurst 2 hours with me on the cameras, but more importantly with Sam and Austin on the mic. And then later, much later in the evening, 22 GMT, Formula 3.5 is back from somewhere. I don't. I actually. Oh, from Spa, of course. That's going to be, I think, me and Austin. So hopefully you will join us for tomorrow as well. Austin, take it away.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the IndyCar series here at Twin Ring Motegi. It was a wonderful turnout, wonderful race from all the drivers, and probably the best race of the season. We've had a few of those today. Well, next week is going to be even more fun. We're headed back into Florida for the third time this season onto Sebring International Raceway for the modified course. But that is all next week. Same time, same place, same Apex Racing TV. I'm Austin I've been joined by Marco Barbonera, and y'all have a good night.